Attention, 50 states, 50 protests demand the Constitution's checks and balances, and this is it. Commits impeachment of President Donald Trump pursuant to Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution, grounds for impeaching and removing federal officials, including the president. And we're going to start off right here, delivered November 26, 2024, which received by the President of the United States. And here, grounds for impeaching him: he illegally took office. And this is from the office of Donald Trump to me, Jesha Miller, as you can see that right there. And what it says is, before you take office, you must publicly acknowledge breaking oath of office, which requires 2/3 of both houses for you to take office. So the president illegally took office, so he can no longer be the president. He breached oath of office. Again, for the second time. There you go. Donald Trump, certified mail receipt and a stamp from the White House. And as the president said, in everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country. We will not forget our Constitution. We will not forget our God. But obviously, he has forgotten all three of these. As you see right here, this document states October the 24th, 2018, as I said, he illegally took office, having breached oath of office, refusing to honor the Constitution's checks and balances. And what does that say right there? Yes, sir. Honor the Constitution's checks and balances, of which he refused to do as the 45th president of the United States. So he illegally took office. That's right. And it ain't one strike, here's two strikes. Honor the checks and balances petition by veteran Jesha Miller, mandatory by law. And what is the penalty for breaching oath of office? Removal from office. And as I said, he illegally took office. This is the 14th Amendment, Section 3.1. No person shall be a senator or a president, civil or military, under the United States, under any state, who having previously taken oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same. And that is what the president did. And this is a cover-up by the government. The impeachment, commenced impeachment of Donald Trump when he was the 45th president of the United States. And now he's come back to do the same thing again. What I said, having took oath of office, he needed 2/3 of both the House and the Senate to take away the disability. The president, this is a public docket. This is the president. His name is there, right at the end. Donald Trump cannot have civil rights violations as the president of the United States when that is what you are to uphold. And what's the penalty for breach oath of office? Removal from office. And that's right now. Termination of tenure of office for the president of the United States. And as I said, there you see this is received by the courts. They did not file it because they are part of the corruption. All three branches of the government are corrupt and are filed using the Constitution's checks and balances. And you say, what is the Constitution's checks and balances? A safeguard written into the United States Constitution to ensure that no single branch of government becomes too powerful. Checks and balances. That's what I'm talking about right there. Checks and balances. What do checks and balances do? Without the ability of the independent federal judiciary to act as a check and balance against abuse, by the executive branch. That's the President of the United States, abuse of power. And the whole nation has witnessed this. And nobody has come forward. Well, in the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, when the government is corrupt, there's a transfer of power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the citizens. That's what I'm talking about. Now, with this, without it, we are left with a rule of power, and that's what he is doing, not the rule of law. Now, as the rule of law also, this prevents the unconstrained exercise of power. He has to be checked for corruption and to balance the scales of justice in America, which have never, ever been done in America. That's why they call them the checks and balances. And Donald Trump, as I said, knew this beforehand. And this right here gets rid of Donald Trump. White supremacy is embedded in America. And what this does is get rid of all of them that are corrupt. And that includes the president, Vice President J.D. Vance, who was sent this and has said nothing to the public about the government corruption. U.S. Attorney Jack Smith knew about this, was delivered October the 28th, 5:56 a.m. That's a tracking number right there. You can check it yourself. As I said, this is done where he was supposed to expose this to the government, as you can see right there, sent next day air to U.S. Attorney, Special U.S. Attorney Jack Smith, to check and see if the president was eligible. He was ineligible to run, having previously breached oath of office. So now calls for his impeachment, as I showed you already. Donald Trump, and also having illegally took office. Once again, he was petitioned as the 47th president of the United States, and again refused to honor the Constitution's checks and balances. And what did he just throw up there from Donald Trump saying he would do? Uphold the Constitution, of which he has not done. These are all in defiance of the Constitution. As I said, he no longer can be the president. This has arrived to Jim Jordan. And here we go right there. That's what Donald Trump said. He was going to honor the Constitution. Being sent this and petitioned this. Here we go. For Chuck Grassley, delivered the 21st of November. Okay, now also delivered, as I said, to Jim Jordan. Commenced the impeachment of President Donald Trump. All Americans, patriotic. All Americans out of 50 states, 50 protests demand the Constitution checks and balances. It is time for the commencement of the impeachment of the President of the United States, Donald Trump, the Vice President, also United States Attorney General Pamela Bondi. They have allegiance to the President, not the Constitution. They took oath of office to the Constitution. The FBI Director Kash Patel, as everybody knows, he's not qualified for that position, but he took oath of office, and now it's time for him and the rest of them to get ghosts. Gone. Out of here. Call him Casper, because this is over. To commence the impeachment of President Donald Trump, acting in defiance of the Constitution, refusing to honor the Constitution's checks and balances. What is that? An official order mandate that the government be checked for corruption, and they refuse it. But he's doing everything else. But it's time for him to go. Commencement of the President of the United States. National news. ABC, CBS, and NBC. First Amendment exposes corruption. That's what it's for. And I am empowered by the Constitution's checks and balances as a citizen. power to the people.